So, yeah, what is she giving us? Give us the note. Does it vary between the pieces? Is it always the melody?
I don't know. To tell you the truth, I give you the note that the bar
One of the notes that one of us starts with.
Okay.
Or 4 parts.
Oh, all right, you'll let me.
Yeah, well, I never give 4 notes. The most I give 3. Kalei Shema, Kalei Nui,
All right.
Kol Nidre, and I don't have it after one concert. Does have a middle note, and I don't know the bass.
And also, all right,
Don't think about it.
Honestly,
or we can just start singing.
You'll know. You'll jump in.
Okay.
Don't overthink it.
We're all amazing singers and people, and we should have some fun up here. So whenever you're ready. Oh, I don't know anything about that. It's not my department. Donna, she hands out the honors.
She's open in New York, right?
I don't hand out the honors for tonight.
Who does?
I have no idea who did it for tonight. I don't do that. I only do the daytime.
No.
He's
Okay. It's 8:01.
I spoke to him. I spoke to Marcus.
How's she doing? He's doing good.
He's doing good. We didn't practice Hashivena. No. Got the note.
No.
Hashivena. Let's do. Well, everybody will start, and then we'll divide.
The seating makes it harder.
Yes, it does.
All right. Then when we divide, you'll sing with them.
Hey, guys. Hey.
Do unison Hashivena, and then when we divide, they're going to continue 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're going to start again, and I'll sing with you.
Okay.
We need a note.
What do you know?
Did you hear the note? Mary?
Bruchim Habayim B'Shem Adonai. Welcome to all of you. Welcome to this moment, this opportunity for a new beginning. Feels like it's been quite a decade since we gathered here last year. These are not easy times for us as members of the Jewish people, as Americans, as human beings. And as we come together tonight, I can't think of a year in my lifetime when the idea of a fresh start seemed more urgent. You know, there's a prayer in our tradition that's all about hope and renewal, and it's one that a lot of people know. It's one of the very first prayers we utter as we enter the new year, a blessing known as the Shechianu. Blessed are you, Adonai, our source, who's revived us, sustained us, and brought us to this moment in time. Shechianu v'kiyamanu v'giyanu lazman hazeh. It's probably one of the top 3 most familiar prayers after the Shema and the Kaddish. And it's said when reaching milestones, special times in life. But not only that, my colleague Rabbi Joshua Hammerman writes that there's something strange about a blessing for special occasions that we look for opportunities to say all the time. On the high holidays, he points out it's almost ridiculous. When you light the Rosh Hashanah candles, you say it. Both nights. When you do Kiddush at dinner, you say it both nights. We eat a new fruit or wear new clothing, which are both Rosh Hashanah customs, say it again. When you blow the shofar, after Kol Nidre, when you light Yom Kippur candles, there's something like a dozen occurrences in our prayer book over 10 days. And that's not to mention the other times that we should say Shechianu, when all kinds of milestones, from small ones, from wearing a new piece of clothing for the first time, tasting the first strawberries of the year, to the big ones, a bar bat mitzvah, a new baby, a new home. We take all of these moments, the small ones and the big ones, and experience them as a gift and as something new. Sometimes I imagine life being like a series of snapshots connected by that blessing. Think back to all the different Shechianus in your life. What are your Shechianu moments? They might be dramatic, they might be mundane, but they bind our lives together. Rosh Hashanah is the anniversary of creation, of new beginnings. And the work we do at this season, the introspection and reorientation we call teshuvah, is in a sense like being born. We have a whole new year in front of us. How will we greet it? What will we make of it together? So I invite you to breathe in, to breathe out, to breathe in once more to join together in this prayer for the new beginnings we all deeply desire and need and dream of this year. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shechianu v'hikiyamanu v'higiyanu lazman hazeh. Amen. So we'll open our books now. We're turning to page 3, and we'll read the reading on the left-hand side of page 3. So as always in this book, there's the left-hand page 3 and the right-hand page 3. So on the left-hand page 3, we'll read, "Now is the time for turning. To everything there is a season, and there is appointed time for every purpose under heaven. Now is the time for turning. The seasons change, as does the balance of day and night. The birds are beginning to turn and are heading once more toward the south. The animals are beginning to turn to storing their food for the winter. For the earth, for birds and animals, turning comes naturally. But for us, turning does not come so easily. It takes an act of will for us to make a turn.
It means breaking with old habits. It means admitting that we have been wrong. And this is never easy.
It means losing face. It means starting all over again, and this is always painful.
It means saying, "I am sorry." It means admitting that we have the ability to change, and this is always embarrassing.
These things are terribly hard to do, but unless we turn, we will be trapped forever in yesterday's ways.
Dear God, help us to turn.
From callousness to sensitivity, from hostility to love.
From pettiness to purpose, from envy to contentment.
From carelessness to discipline, from fear to faith.
Turn us around, O God, and bring us back toward you. Revive our lives as at the beginning.
And turn us toward each other, God, for in isolation there is no life. We'll turn to page 5, and Rabbi Miriam will now lead us in Baruch Hu.
Please rise. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Vaed. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Vaed. May be seated. Let's read together on page 5, the left-hand page 5 with the English, the first bracha before the Shema, the evening light. Baruch atah Adonai our God, ruler of time and space, whose word brings the evening dusk, whose wisdom opens the gates of dawn, whose understanding changes the day's division, whose will sets the succession of the seasons and arranges the stars in their places in the sky, who creates day and night, who rolls light before darkness and darkness from light, who makes day pass into night, who distinguishes day from night. Adonai Zebaoth is your name. Living and ever-present God, may your rule be with us forever and ever. Baruch atah Adonai, who brings each evening's dusk. Umavir yom, umevi laila, umavdil ben yom, uvein laila, Adonai Tzebaoth Shemo, El Chai V'Kayam, Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Le'olam Vaed, Baruch atah Adonai, Baruch Hu, Baruch Shemo, Hamari v'Haravim. Amen. Continue on page 6 with the second bracha before the Shema about divine love expressed to the Jewish people through the Torah, which teaches us a right way to live. Let's sing together. Ahavat olam beit Yisrael, amcha ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, ukim u'mishpatim, otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, b'shokmeinu u'b'kumeinu, nasiach b'chukecha, v'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, u'b'mitzvotecha, le'olam vaed. Ki hem chayenu, ve'orech yameinu, ve'orech yameinu, uvahem neged yomam v'layla, yomam v'layla. Ve'ahavatecha al tasir mimenu le'olamim, Baruch atah Adonai. Baruch Hu, Baruch Shemo. Ohev Amo Yisrael. Amen. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, We're on page 6, the bottom paragraph. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha ve'hayu ha'devarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha ve'shinantam levanecha ve'dibarta bam ve'shivtecha bebeitecha uvlechtecha b'derech uv'shochlecha uv'kumecha uv'shartam le'yot al yadecha ve'hayu l'totafot b'einecha uchtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'b'sharecha. The Shema, loving life and its mysterious source with all our heart and all our spirit, all our senses and strength, we take upon ourselves and into ourselves these promises to care for the earth and those who live upon it, to pursue justice and peace, to love kindness and compassion. We will teach this to our children throughout the passage of the day, as we dwell in our homes and as we go on our journeys, from the time we rise until we fall asleep. And may our actions be faithful to our words, that our children's children may live to know truth and kindness have embraced, peace and justice have kissed and are one. Let's continue now on page 7 privately. Let's join back together in the English on page 7, the second paragraph that commands us to put fringes on our four-cornered garments, aka talit. Let's read together. Adonai said to Moses, "Speak to the people of Israel and instruct them that in every generation they shall put tzitzit on the corners of their garments, placing a thread of blue on the tzitzit, the fringe of each corner. That shall be your tzitzit, and you shall look at it and remember all the mitzvot of Adonai and fulfill them, and not be seduced by your heart and eyes as they lead you astray. Then you will remember and fulfill all my mitzvot and be holy before your God. I am Adonai your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am Adonai your God truly. Adonai Elohechem Emet." Let's continue now on page 8 with Micha Mocha. Umalchuto beratzon kiblu alehem Moshe Miriam uvnei Yisrael lecha anu shira b'simcha rabah v'yameru chulam mi kamocha v'im Adonai mi kamocha nedar b'kodesh nora tehilot oseh veleh malchutecha ra'uvanecha bokei hayam lifnei Moshe Zeili anu v'yameru Adonai Adonai et Yaakov, Ugealo, Miad Chazak Bimenu, Baruch Atah Adonai, Baruch Hu, Baruch Shemo. Ay, da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Ya, da, ya, da, 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 da. Gal Yisrael.
Continue on page 9 with our second blessing after the Shema. Hashkibenu, a prayer for protection and peace. And in English, it talks about the canopy of peace, but the Hebrew is the sukkah of peace. And the sukkah, the booth that we spend our time in during the holiday of Sukkot in a couple of weeks, is not a sturdy structure. It cannot have 4 complete walls. It has to have a roof with holes in it so you can see the stars. There is something there about the image of peace as fragile, and an image that encourages us to understand that peace can never be completely secure, that we cannot have complete peace by walling ourselves up into fortresses, but that peace is open to the world and requires a measure of faith. Turn the page and please rise.
Ufrosaleinu sukat shalomecha, Baruch atah Adonai, Baruch Hu, Baruch Shemo, Haporei sukat shalom, Aleinu, Ve'al kol Amo Yisrael, Ve'al Yerushalayim. וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי לכל בית ישראל בגלה ובזמן קרי ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עלמי יתברך וישתבח ויתברך ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתעטר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לילה לילה מכל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירן We begin the private Amida on page 11, going through page 17. Page 19. יתגלה ויקרא שמי רבה, וילמדו, ורק יראותי וימליך מלכותי בחיי כהנו וימי כהנו וחיי לכל בית ישראל, בגלה וזמן קריב ויאמרו, אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך, לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה, יתברך, יתברך, וישתבח, יתפאר, ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתהלל, ויתהלל שמי דקודשה, בריחו לעילה, לעילה, מכל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דמירן גמה ויאמרו, אמן. תתקבל צלות ההון ובאות ההון לכל ישראל, קודם אבוני וישמעיה ויאמרו, אמן. יהי שלום הרבה משמיה וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ויאמרו, אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ועל כל יושבי תבל ויאמרו, אמן.
So for the last several years, I've been sharing a story on Rosh Hashanah evening. I was looking for the right one this year, and I was thinking about a Hasidic story called The Holy Miser, which is set in Krakow in 1550. Then I found this version by my colleague, Rabbi Jason Rosenberg. Fast forward 475 years. No one even knew his name. He had lived in the town for as long as anyone could remember, but still no one knew him. He was rich. Everyone who knew of him knew that. But that was about all they knew. Well, that and one more thing. He was cheap, excruciatingly cheap, the miser. That's all anyone called him when they thought of him at all, which, let's be honest, wasn't often. If a beggar on the street came up to him and asked him for some money, he'd just say sorry and keep on walking. When the Girl Scouts were trying to raise money to help support the local animal shelter, he'd lower his head and walk right on past. When the school held a fundraiser, you could count on not seeing him at it. And when the synagogue needed help, when the rabbi herself would go to him and ask for money, well, he'd at least listen politely to the rabbi, but just when she thought she might have finally gotten through to him, he'd always stand up and say, "I'm sorry, there's nothing I could do to help," and walk out of the room. This kind of behavior doesn't exactly lead to being well-loved. And so when he finally died, there were really only two reactions. Some people were happy this miserly old curmudgeon was finally gone. More people than that didn't even take notice. There wasn't even a minion at the funeral, just the rabbi, the funeral director, and a couple of people who happened to be at the cemetery that day. Life went on in the town, undisturbed by his passing, as it had been by his living. A few weeks later, one of the poorest residents of the town stopped by to see the rabbi. "Rabbi," he said, "I'm desperate. I need some help. I haven't been able to find any work in weeks. I've got no money left. I can't pay my rent. I can't afford groceries. Can't even keep my house warm. Can you help me?" "Of course I can," she said. She gave him some money from her discretionary fund, and they started chatting. She asked him about his work. "Oh," he said, "I just do odd jobs, light construction, home repair, things like that. It's never that much, but it's always been enough to get by. Every now and then this contractor comes by and offers me a few days' work, and I haven't seen him in a bit." The rabbi went to see the contractor just to see if maybe she could convince him to send some work the poor man's way. "I'm so sorry, Rabbi, I didn't realize how bad he had it. And I didn't really mean to cut him off. It's just that for a while now, there's been this old guy who would stop by and ask for some work to be done on his property or that, and he'd always request that I hire this one particular poor man. So I did. I haven't seen that old man in a while, so I just haven't thought about it. I'll make sure to throw some work at our friend and help him get back on his feet." A few days later, one of the members of that local Girl Scout troop came to see the rabbi. "So what can I do for you?" the rabbi asked. "Well, you know that we've been raising some money for playground restoration? For some reason, we're having so much worse luck than usual. We could always usually count on someone Venmoing us a big anonymous donation. We haven't had any luck this time. I was hoping maybe you could talk to some of the local bigwigs and see if they'd chip in." "I'll see what I can do," the rabbi said, and she made a mental note to make a donation herself too. You can kind of fill in the rest of the story for yourself, can't you? Over the next weeks, the rabbis met with what seemed like a continuous parade of townspeople who had suddenly, mysteriously, had their source of tzedakah dry up. The local food pantry was no longer having large, regular deliveries from the supermarket, paid for by some anonymous donor. The hospital saw a shocking decrease in small online donations being made, they started to notice, by people with remarkably generic names. No more $36 from Joe Goldberg or $18 from Sarah Cohen. The rabbi started talking to people living on the street and found that almost all of them had stopped waking up, to the surprise of having a generous amount dropped in their cups while they slept. Even the synagogue, she realized, had seen a drop-off in donations. I'm sure you can guess what I'm going to tell you next. It didn't take very long for the rabbi to put all the pieces together and figure out that those donations had stopped coming at exactly the same time the miser had died. She even took a picture of him to that contractor, and he confirmed he was the same man who, quietly, almost furtively, had kept asking for him to hire that poor man. Yep, it seems like the miser was nothing but. For years and years, he'd been quietly, secretly spreading money around town. Everyone who needed it, it seemed, had been getting help from this man, and no one, absolutely no one, had any idea. That man had clearly learned somewhere along the way the idea that giving anonymously was the highest form of tzedakah, and he had taken it to heart, maybe as much as anyone ever had. He was so generous and just didn't want anyone to know. The rabbi decided that if he had been so committed to his anonymity, it wasn't her place to tell anyone, now that he was gone, as much as she wanted to. So she told no one. But she was probably the only leader of any synagogue, museum, or hospital or animal shelter in town who wasn't surprised when a few months later she was contacted by an attorney and told someone had anonymously left their institution a generous bequest. She just smiled and quietly said thank you to the man that she knew was behind this. She might have shed a tear during Mourner's Kaddish that Shabbat. It was years later that the rabbi finally passed away herself. Thank God she found herself in Olam Haba, the world to come, in heaven, if you will. And no sooner did she get there, she was greeted by who else? The old miser. "Rabbi, it's so good to see you after all these years. Well, obviously, I'm so sorry for your family's loss," he said. "How do you greet someone who just died? It's not really clear to me. Anyway, welcome to the world to come, he says. The rabbi reached out and pulled him into a warm hug. It's good to see you too. How have you been? Oh, I've been all right, the old man said. Just all right? We're in Olam Haba. It should be perfect. Well, yes, I suppose. I don't mean to complain. It's wonderful up here, to be sure. But I can't stand here and tell you that it's perfect. I once heard, the rabbi said, in the world to come, there's an unlimited amount you can eat, the most delicious food you could imagine. Is that true? Yes, it's true, he said. Let me show you. And he took the rabbi to a great hall filled with tables, each covered with enough food to put an Israeli hotel breakfast to shame. You can eat all you want, and you'll never get too full, and of course you don't have to worry about your cholesterol anymore. Incredible, the rabbi said, reaching for the first glazed donut she'd let herself eat in quite a while. I also heard in the world to come you can study in perfect peace, whatever and whenever you want. True? Oh, of course, he said, and he led her to a great library with endless stacks of books. But it gets even better, he said. He led her upstairs where there were rooms, each filled with people on couches, talking to and learning from. Rabbi Akiva in one room, Rashi's daughters in the next, Isaac Newton held court in one, and Walt Whitman is leading a surprisingly raucous poetry reading in another. Scholars of every age and bent showing their knowledge with eager students. Okay, my old friend, said the rabbi, we're in the world to come. We've got all we can ever want to eat with no repercussions. We can study and learn and fill our brains as much as our hearts desire. I assume the beds are comfortable? The best. The weather? Always perfect. Are there dogs here? You even have to ask, Rabbi? So why in God's name are you only all right? What could possibly be missing in a place like this? It's perfect. Yes, Rabbi, he said with a gentle sigh. It's perfect, and that's the problem. See, up here in heaven, there's no one to take care of. We'll continue our service now. Let's turn to page 22. The poem at the top of the page, or the letter Bet, was actually originally composed in French and then published and translated into Hebrew. In your image you fashioned us. You owe us your presence. We need to bow to you, ask your forgiveness, hold you responsible for the unfair, the ugly. We need to return to you, hold you accountable for what defies comprehension, that we may turn to you more fervently with gratitude for the seasons and the stars and the day and the night.
We are humbled by the wonder of the world, grateful for the gift of thought, grateful for our dreams, our hopes, grateful for our never-ending illusions, grateful for these beautiful souls that transcend death.
God of the faithless, God of the faithful, God in all forms and formless, who was and who is and who will be, you are the eternal one. We'll turn to page 24, and we'll rise for the Rosh Hashanah Kiddush.
If we're able to.
If we're able to, yes. And if you're here at the beginning, you know what comes after the Kiddush, too. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol am, veromamanu mikol lashon, vekidashanu b'mitzvotav, v'atiten lanu Adonai Eloheinu be'ahava, et yom hazikaron hazeh, Yom Tshuva Mikra Kodesh Zecher L'Tziat Mitzrayim Kivanu B'chata Be'otanu Kidasha Mikol Ha'amim U'dvarcha Emet B'kayam La'ad Baruch Atah Adonai Melech Al Kol Ha'aretz Mekadesh Yisrael Melech Al Kol Ha'aretz Mekadesh Yisrael, Melech Kol Haaretz Mekadesh Yisrael, V'yom HaZikaron. Amen. Now at the bottom. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, shehechianu v'kiyanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Amen. You remain standing. Turn to page 25 for Aleinu.
Alinu l'shabeach la'jon hakol, la'tein gedula li'oseh breshit, shelo asanu kegoyei haratzon, velo samanu kemishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam elkeinu kahem, v'gam aleinu kechol hamunam, Ma'anachnu korahim u'mishachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu shehu noteh shamayim v'yosed haaretz u'moshav yikaro b'shamayim imah u'shchinatu zo V'kofei meromim Hu Eloheinu Einod Emet Malkeinu Efes Ulato Kakatu Letorato Yadata Hayom Lahashevota Elevavecha Hi Adonai Hu Elohim Bashamayim Bima'al Ve'al haaretz V'itachat Einod Kakatu b'toratecha, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, v'nemor, Adonai, v'melech al kol haaretz, b'yom hahu, yiyeh Adonai echad, u'shemo
You can be seated. We turn to page 26 for Mourner's Kaddish. We send our condolences to the family of Edgar Shuni, who was laid to rest yesterday. Our condolences to Frida and to Ed's entire family at this difficult time. We recall the yahrzeits this week of Faye Alterman, Marian Arnoff, Sadia Baker, Florence Baker Lewis, Isidore Berkowitz, Irene Best, Samuel Blumberg, Herman Cantor, Seymour A. Cohen, Sadie Efron, Yetta Fleischer, Harry Gartner, David Glansberg, Max Glick, Morris Goldman, Frida Grechuk, Audrey Grogan, Irving Milton Hecht, Herbert Howard, Jenny Jowetz, Frida Katz, Marie Krieger, Carl Kronberg, Florence Cooper Smith, Bobby Lance, Morris Lapidus, Lillian Lewis, Frida Lichtman, Lillian Lindner, Donald Pollack, Paul Ratner, Leo Ritter, Warner Rosenshine, Florence Rothman, Rosalia Rodriguez, Deborah Shapiro, Morris Siegel, Gidel Silberstein, Shia Silberstein, Theodore Sirota, Harold Steinberg, Al Steinwolf, Ethel Teitler, Charles Tinkelman, Norman Tinkelman, William Wangel, Saul Weinstein, Ruth Whitman, Samuel Wolkoff, Leonard Wood, Abraham Ziegerman, Leonard Znaimer, and Eliyahu Zuta. May their memories be a blessing. I'd like to invite anyone who's in mourning or calling a yard site to rise for Kaddish, page 26. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. Be'alma divra chirutei, be'amlich malchutei, be'chayechon u'b'yomechon u'b'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'bizman karib imru, Amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach, le'olam olamei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yitadar, v'yitaleh, v'yitalal, shmei d'kudusha brechu, le'ela, le'ela, mikol birchata b'shirata, tushbechata b'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma b'imru, Amen. Yehi shlama Rabbah min shemaya, v'chaim alenu be'al kol Yisrael b'imru, Amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru. Amen. May the one who brings peace and higher bring peace to us, to all Israel, to all who dwell on earth, and particularly to all who mourn. And we say, Amen.
Amen.
To be seated, I'd like to invite our President John Weissman up for announcements.
Okay. Shana Tova, everyone. Good. So, Rosh Hashanah announcements. Check your weekly email for more information on all events. They come out regularly. Thank you to our Bima Flower sponsors, Bob Ulrich, in memory of his father, Sam Ulrich, and his brother, Arthur J. Ulrich, and Jane Dworkin in memory of her husband, Jonathan Dworkin. Chauffeur over the Hudson Sunday, September 28th, 1:30 at the Pavilion at the Mid-Hudson Discovery Museum in Warriors Park. Check out the table in the hallway with flyers about our upcoming events or your weekly Friday email. And the crop walk is October 19th. I was supposed to remind myself to have Miriam hold up the sign, but she beat me to it. Okay. Thank you for everyone who keeps the temple running. If you haven't already noticed it, we have what's called the Wheel of Good Fortune board in the lobby. Actually, we have two of Wheels of Good Fortune. There's one over here and then one in the outer lobby. And that was sponsored by Steve and Nancy Koch and family. And if you turn the wheel, it'll mention all the people throughout the year who have done things in support of our synagogue. Hopefully you haven't forgotten anybody, but there's a disclaimer at the bottom, just in case we have. Okay, so turn the wheel and you'll see all the names and the people and the things that happened over the course of the year. And it's kind of, I think, a unique way to display our thanks to all those people. Yom Kippur food and toiletry drive in the foyer. Ongoing CARE Social Action Committee collecting toiletries and non-perishable food for Duchess Outreach. And you can contact Miriam Zimmet Aaron for more information. And just briefly, the High Holiday service schedule tomorrow morning at 8:45 to 12:30, followed by Tashlich. I got that wrong. Tashlich. Family services, Rabbi Michael with Rabbi Miriam at 9:45, and Tot and Teen programming at 9:45 a.m. Wednesday morning services again at 8:45 to 12:30. And just a reminder, Kol Nidre, Wednesday, October 1st at 6 p.m. sharp. Got to be sharp. Okay, and that's all the announcements for tonight.
Thank you, John, and also for all that you do in the temple. And I also just want to say Yasher Koach to the choir for their beautiful singing. Right, and speaking of the choir, we will conclude with on page 27, just in the bold lines about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines down or so, or in the red transliteration, one thing I ask of Adonai, this I seek, to dwell in the house of God all the days of my life.
Shana Tova Metuka. One final late-breaking announcement that was just handed to me. Thank you in particular to Blanche and Louis Bergman for their generous donation to refurbish the sukkah in time for Sukkot this year. So thank you very much. Shana Tova
Shana
Metuka.
Tova.
A good and sweet
See you
year to us all.
tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.